Hello guys, Glenn Anderson here, another video for the fans. So I just want to share with you perhaps a little workout that you can do that will simultaneously improve your strength and conditioning as well. So how do you do that? Well, one little workout I've been doing recently, and it's a tough workout but it really does the job, is basically log press every minute on the minute. So for you guys out there that do strongman and do log press, I mean, you don't have to do this with log press, you can do it with an axle or even a barbell. This also works well with deadlifts and squats, but for the purposes of this video we're just going to use log press as an example because that's what I like to use it on. So recently I've done this workout twice and I'm going to be doing it again in the future. So basically it's EMOM training, every minute on the minute training, but the difference with this, most EMOM workouts you will just do one rep. With this you do 2 reps every minute on the minute for 15 minutes. So we're going to take a look at what I did on the first workout. So for those of you that don't know what every minute on the minute training is, basically you start the first minute, you do 2 reps of the exercise, and then you rest for the remainder of the minute, and then when the next minute is up you go again and do your next 2 reps. So let's take the log because that's what I've been doing. Okay, but like I say, it'll work just as well with axle, barbell, deadlift, squats. So with the log, on the first minute I did 85 kilos for 2 reps. This is the first workout. We'll come to the second one in a minute. On the second minute I did 85 kilos again for 2 reps. Because it's 2 reps and because of the setup and all that, it normally takes me about 25 seconds to execute the 2 reps. So I normally have about 35 seconds rest and then I have to go again. This type of training is good, it's very dense, and because I'm doing 2 reps every minute on the minute, I'm barely resting, and that's what gives you the conditioning. This is a tough workout, so be warned. Now, I could just keep the weight the same for the whole 15 minutes. If you want to do that, that's totally fine. But when I was doing the 85, I did it for the first 9 minutes. I kept the weight at 85 kilos, but it was a little bit too easy for me. The log that we've got at my gym, it's a big red log. It's 13 inches in diameter and unloaded with no weight. It weighs 85 kilos. So that's what I started with. I've never really done this type of workout before, so I thought I'd start light. Bear in mind my max log press is 145 kilos. So 85 kilos, it might not sound like a lot of weight, but when you're doing 2 reps every minute on the minute for 15 minutes, it is a very tough workout, and it is, even with light weight, you know, especially if your conditioning is poor as well, you will certainly feel it. So if you're thinking of trying this, please start with a light weight. You want to have it nice and easy to begin with. You do want it to get a little bit tougher towards the end, but what you don't want to do is start with a weight that's too high and then you find you can't finish the 15 minutes. So you do need to bear that in mind. So look at what your log press max is, and obviously you're going to have to go way under that. You don't even want to be approaching that. If your max log press is 100 kilos, you might just want to use 50-60 kilos for this, literally 50-60% of your max weight. Again, it depends on your strength level and conditioning, because some people, they're really good at 1 rep maxes, but when they have to do reps or whatever over and over, they can get quite poor. So please choose a sensible weight. You know, don't bite off more than you can chew, don't go too heavy too soon, start light and then you can build it up gradually. So anyway, I mean, like I say, I could have kept the same. You can keep the same weight for the whole 15 minutes if you want to. You don't have to add weight. It's just what I choose to do. Please bear in mind as well that if you're going to add weight while you're going along, you will have to change the weight plates. You're going to have to take weight plates off or put weight plates on, and that is going to eat into your rest time. So please bear that in mind when you're doing this, because if you keep the weight the same, you can just go and sit down and you can rest for the whole 35 seconds. Whereas if you're changing plates and all that, please remember you've still got to go on the next minute. So when I got to the 9th minute here, it was too easy for me, so I decided to go to 90. So I had to put 2.5 kilos on each side, and of course, okay, it only takes a few seconds to do that, and of course I put the collars on, but obviously just those few seconds, when you're only getting 30 to 35 seconds rest between sets, every second counts, because like I say, it's quite grueling. I normally train alone, so I have to do it. But if you've got a training partner that can put weights on or take weights off you, then that's grand. Then that way you can get your full amount of rest. But if you're training and you're doing this alone, then you know you're going to have to take the weights on and off yourself. So please bear that in mind. Okay, so the temps that I did 90, the 11th 90. By the time I got to the 12th minute, I went up to 95 kilos. I stayed the same for minute 13 and minute 14. And then on the 15th and final minute, I went to 100 kilos. So I finished on 100 kilos. So as you can see, for the whole 15 minutes, I started at 85, 90, 95, and then finished on 100. So that was my first workout. And then a couple of weeks later, I did the same again. There's no set frequency here. You can do this workout every week, or you can do it every other week or occasionally, but just try to make sure you're making progress in some way with this. So for log workout 2, I started with 85 this time, and then this time I went up to 95, and I kept it the same for 10 sets. So all the way up to minute 11, I kept it at 95. From minute 12, I went to 100, 13, 100, 14, 100, and then for the 15th and final minute, I went to 102. So as you can see, I finished on a slightly higher weight. I would also like to say as well that with this, I didn't use any equipment or support. So I didn't wear a belt, I didn't wear any wrist wraps, I didn't wear any elbow sleeves. You can actually find the video or part of the video to this on my YouTube channel. I believe it was the last video that I uploaded. So if you want to get an example of how this works, I didn't record the whole 15 minutes, but I did record the last 2 sets. So if you want to go back and have a look, you can see I did minute 14, which was 100 kilos, and then you see me change the plates and add the extra 1 1/4 on each side to make the 102.5, and then I finish on the 102.5. So if you want to go back and look at that video, and you can see that I'm not wearing a belt, no supports, no wrist straps, no elbow sleeves, I'm literally just going. So there we are. So that's the second workout, 15 minutes, 2 reps every minute on the minute. So you're doing a total of 30 reps in the course of 15 minutes. So this workout is made harder by the fact that I'm barely resting because I'm having to go 2 reps every minute on the minute, and also I'm not wearing any elbow sleeves. But this is a great workout to do because it will give you good conditioning. It's a very tough workout to do. So please be very conservative with the weight when you first do this. If you've never done this before, it is very tough. Especially when you have to, it's hard enough doing 1 rep, but when you have to do 2 reps every minute on a minute, that is a tough workout, so please bear that in mind. But it will give you good conditioning and it will give you good strength, because when you go back to having longer rest times, when you go back to using a belt, wrist wraps and elbow sleeves, it'll be a lot easier for you because you're used to doing it without equipment and you're used to doing it every minute on the minute, barely resting. So this is, like I say, it's a great workout to do. Like I say, very tough, but it delivers the results. So if you have a look here, if you look at the end of workout 1, you'll see my total volume was 1,335 kilograms, and the average weight per set was 89 kilos. So I started with 85, finished on 100, but the average was 89 kilos and 1,335 kilos of tonnage. Now if you look at workout 2, my volume went from 1,335 to 1,437.5, and the average weight of the log per set was 95.8 kilos. So I've increased the total tonnage of the workout, and the amount of weight that I'm using, the average has slightly increased as well. And like I said, I did this with both workouts, no equipment, no belt, elbow sleeves or wrist straps. So with this, like I say, first time you do it, I strongly suggest that you just keep the weight the same for the whole 15. But to make this work, you just want to make sure. If you wanted to, you keep the whole weight the same. Keep the whole weight the same for the second one, and then maybe add a little bit of weight towards the end. Because when you get to the 15th, you know you've only got to do 1 more. So if you can just push through that and just get that little bit of extra weight. So as you can see here, like I say, it's not a huge increase really, but if you can just, to make this work, you just want to make the tonnage, you want to make your volume slightly more over time and try and get the average slightly higher over time. So if you can do that, that will improve your conditioning and your ability to handle a heavier workload. So like I say, it's a good workout to do. You're not pushing to your limit either. So like I say, it's good for building conditioning and strength simultaneously. and you will get stronger over time. Because like I say, when you go back to your normal log press workout where you're having 4 or 5 minutes rest between sets, like I say, you've got all your equipment on and all that, it will be so much easier because you can take your time and do it. With this, you've got to constantly go and go. You sit down, you have 30 seconds rest, you've got to go again. It is really tough. So I hope this helps. So like I say, to make it work, just try and gradually do a little bit more. It doesn't have to be a drastic amount, just a little bit here, little bit here. Just keep chipping away, do a bit more, and each time you'll see these numbers go up, and when you go to test your max log, you'll see a good improvement. I certainly did. So anyway, I hope that helps. Thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll see you soon.